11. Friends don't lie.
Stop it! You're freaking her out!
She's freaking me out! The upside down.
Do you understand what he's talking about?
No. I found the chocolate pudding!
Oh God, please tell me it's not the kid.
I need you to hide!
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Holy shit.
Welcome back. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming Stranger Things.
It's happening.
That felt so good. This is a true welcome back. If you've never listened to the show before, how we started, the reason our show is called Streaming Things is a show that covers Stranger Things specifically. And so we're returning to our roots here, rewatching something we've already covered ad nauseum. We're going to do a complete rewatch of all of the Stranger Things episodes leading up to Stranger Things season 5, which debuts November 26th. And so our coverage will end right before then, and we'll dive right into season 5. And I kind of feel like I'm of two minds about this.
Okay.
I watched the episode last night. It was so fucking good. To just like be back taking notes about Stranger Things. I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous because I think we're going to point out Easter Eggos and like I'm going to potentially say things I've said before, but as if I've said them for the first time. And the listeners are it's going to be eye rolly maybe at times. Like that's my fear.
Yeah.
Because I don't listen to the show as much as the audience does. And so I won't know that I've said this before.
Right. And a fun component about this rewatch is not only will we be dipping our toes back into the Stranger Things world, but we will also be sort of referencing our previous coverage from time to time. So you'll hear shittier versions of our takes. I'll tell you guys like what your original chocolate puddings were sometimes.
Ooh.
Or if you said something particularly funny in the original coverage, I'll bring that up. Like, for instance, do you guys want to hear the very first opening of our show? From the very first?
They made Andy sneeze.
Allergic to it. I don't like the cringe.
Have you guys listened to our original coverage from 2017?
No, I'm
ever.
intentionally not.
No.
Yeah. I listened to it when I edited it, put it out in the world, and I haven't revisited it since. And a lot of people have a lot of fond memories of our coverage that I just don't have because whatever. But do you guys want to hear our very first episode of Streaming Things and how we signed on?
From over 8 years ago? Sure.
Do it.
Here we go.
Welcome to Streaming Things. Our, what is this, the first episode? Or is this?
This is episode 0.
Is it tilde 1? Would that be a cool way to say it?
Okay.
Does that mean less than 1?
I think that means about, around, or something. What's
I'm
the
not
tilde
good at
mean?
math. I don't know.
Tilda Swinton.
I thought the tilde was like plus or minus. You know,
I don't know.
Equivalent of that.
Anywho, my name is Chris.
I'm Andy.
I'm Steve. Or Stu. I didn't know what to talk about. Didn't know how to introduce myself.
So full.
Yeah, and that's that.
I'm Steve. Tilda Swinton.
So if you never watched or if you never listened to our original coverage, somehow, some way, surprisingly, we have gotten better.
We kept going.
The sound quality on that was awful. It was in my echoey basement.
Yeah.
And we had those little microphones. Good times. Well, so at least we still get the same dumb brains, but we're older. So we're dying sooner. And the audio sounds better though, you know? But so I'm really excited. Part of me feels like, is this just like the overweight middle-aged dad putting on his Letterman jacket like vibe? Because we're like, let it go. Like, I hope that's not an element of this.
Let me tell you about the good old days.
Could have gone professional, you know?
This is so meta now because the whole, like, part of why Stranger Things is so fun is it's remembering so many things from the past. It's so nostalgia coded. Yeah. And now we're nostalgizing the nostalgia show.
Yeah.
But hey, we're doing it. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'm very, very excited. What we're going to do, if you are somehow new here, we're not going to go into major later spoilers. So we're only going to be talking about each episode as we discuss it. However, we are assuming this is a rewatch for you. So just be aware of that. There might be a little more hints and kind of rib poking to future things that happen than we would normally do, because I think that's the most fun way to analyze this show on this go around.
This is a rewatch of the show. So if you've never seen Stranger Things and you're really worried about any sort of spoilers whatsoever, maybe go watch our original coverage first when we were dumb and didn't know what was happening. But now we know everything that's happened up through the end of season 4. So we might reference something like, oh, this is where they started this plot line. We like you said, we won't go too far into it, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Rewatch.
And I don't know what your guys' experience was like. Before we get into the main meat, one more little aside. I've never watched a single episode of this show before and stopped, because the way that we do our coverage was we would watch each episode and then record immediately afterward and then go watch another one. And sometimes we would go to bed and then come back the next day and do 2 through 9 or whatever. But still, that's like barely a break. And now I have to wait a week to watch episode 2. And that is so fucking weird.
Oh, yeah.
Because even when I first watched it before we did the show, I binged the whole thing in one day. And every other time I've watched this without the show, I just watched a bunch of it, right? So it was just so strange to and then turn it off. I was like, I felt weird.
Wrong.
Yeah. I was like, this feels wrong. So that's going to be difficult, but interesting. But yeah, so that's the plan. This is Stranger Things 101, episode 1. But before we get into anything, if you know what's happening, we got to do some MadLibs.
It's time for the MadLibs. Now, a caveat for these MadLibs. I am using the official Stranger Things MadLibs. Now, if you'll remember, I used this for our season 4 coverage, so there will be repeats, but new words. And I want to thank our listener, Jim, on Discord. He actually sent me this.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
But there aren't enough stories to cover all 4 seasons of the show, so I also have the Welcome to the 80s MadLibs to fill in the blanks, as it were, when we get into the later episodes of the season. But are you guys ready to give me the words so I can put pen to the paper? We can craft a story together that you will hear at the end of the episode.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Never been more ready.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Dibs.
Andy's going first. Andy, hit me with an adjective.
Smelly.
Kit, hit me with a plural noun.
Buns.
Andy, can I have an animal?
A aardvark.
Number?
17.
Andy, can I have a plural noun?
Tulips.
Kit, can I have a person in the room?
Pippin.
Thank you for acknowledging that Pippin is a person.
I'm a real boy.
Thank you.
Andy, can I have a noun?
Throat.
You really went to war with the syllables in that. Throat. Kit, give me a verb ending in ing.
Thrusting.
Andy, noun.
Sack.
Kit, can I have an animal plural?
Giraffes.
Andy, type of food.
Mediterranean.
And he always does a cuisine.
I don't know if
Do we need?
I don't think if the
not gonna
cuisine works in this context.
We do this every time.
Cheese conies.
Most of the world went, what?
Oh, so this story takes place in Cincinnati. Kit, give me a part of the body plural. Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
Kit, give me a part of the body.
Not plural.
Not plural.
Okay. I'm going to throw a curveball here and not say gooch.
Okay.
Taint.
Navel.
Navel. Okay.
Okay.
Andy, can I have an adverb?
Quickly.
Kit, noun.
Cave.
And last but not least, Andy, give me a silly word.
Mediterranean.
Lollapalooza.
Okay, so stay tuned to the end of the episode so you can hear the story that these two crafted, titled Welcome to Hawkins.
Let's go. That's how I felt starting this episode. Welcome to Hawkins. We are covering the first episode, and I'm curious. This is probably, I don't know, the 7th time I'm watching this season specifically. Yeah. Probably for all of us, right around. Andy just watched it again. He was balls deep in season 3 when we had this idea to do this. Right. And he was like, God damn it.
I just watched the penultimate season 4 episode last night.
Oh, jeez.
That's how much. So I just watched this episode like 3 weeks ago and then watched it again like 2 days ago for our coverage today.
So what was it like?
So coming back.
Revisiting it.
Actually, I want to know real quick before we get into what it was like, just so the audience knows, because it's been so long since we originally did this. I think it's kind of fun to say where we were in our lives when we originally covered it, and now we're here. It's 2025.
Oh my God. where was I in my life in 2017? I think that I was finishing up college as a non-tradish student, you know, so Steve and I were in the film club together and stuff.
Yeah. Way
back when. God, I was living with my parents. I was working at a bank, I think, at the time. Yeah, life is completely different now. Now I'm married, have a home, I have a career. We have a pretty successful podcast. You know what I mean? Like people actually listen to this shit. Mm-hmm. That's exciting. That
before no one listened to it.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton, nobody heard that. Mm-mm. That was fire. This is great, you know? But the coming back to it now, man, golly, it's insane to look at these little children on screen. You know, they're adults now, and that are movie stars, and these are a bunch of nobodies watching season 1. So yeah, the rewatch is phenomenal because you know where everything's going, and the show is so close, so near and dear to us now, especially because everything that we have with this podcast is because of the show, right? Mm-hmm. And so going back, there's that extra layer of just like adoration for the show, for the things that it's given us, but also just like the experience that I have talking about it with friends and family. Everybody that I know is a deep Stranger Things fan. So the rewatch for this was like, oh fuck, I just watched this, 3 weeks ago. But the rewatch experience overall is one of like kind of awe at how good they set everything up. And in our coverage for F1, Chris was talking about ACOTAR and how he's not sure if the author necessarily knows the answers to the questions, right? These guys, the Duffers, know the answers to these questions. And it's so fucking cool to see the way that they're threading things, even in episode 1. It's good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Steve, where were you at in 2017?
Oh my gosh, I had also just graduated from college just a few months before. Was it you or Kit? Were you the one that called me and talked about like, hey, let's do this show? Or was Andy the one that called me initially? I can't remember which one of you called me first.
I think he had the idea and told me to call you.
Okay. Yeah, I knew Kit had the idea of
I didn't have your number.
Podcast. Because we had only met in passing like once prior. And we were going to record all of season 1 ahead of season 2 dropping. And I think we recorded like the first 2 episodes. And then I went and got married. And on a honeymoon, so we took a week off, but like released them so you wouldn't even know we were gone. So I remember one of these episodes that starts with me, I got married and I'm divorced now. But no, like I'm so much different. Like I was also living with my mom at that time. My ex and I had moved into her house because our first house had kind of fallen to shambles. But now I'm divorced from that person. I'm in a much better relationship with Erica now. And I do this full time. I think back then, I don't think I'd even started my job that would become my career for the significant portion of us doing this podcast. I think I was still trying to freelance edit for people and not making any money. And then you guys are like, want to do a podcast too? And I'm like, sure, let's do it. And it's just so fun to look back now in 2025 and just see how like our friendships have grown over the years. And, it's funny that like you and I only met in passing one time before we got in front of a microphone for the first time together. And just like Andy and I were always good friends from the moment I met Andy. So like I knew Andy and I would have chemistry, but then thankfully all 3 of us have great chemistry and it led to the show. And it's just nice to start up Stranger Things specifically and relive just how far we've come and to see this show that really brought us together again. It brings me such warm feelings. I love it. So thank you, Duffer Brothers, and everyone who created Stranger Things, which this first episode, chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers, is so good, right? Everything we love about Stranger Things is distilled into this. You get the 80s nostalgia, you get the really great performances by the cast in general, but you really immediately glom onto these 4 nerds playing D&D and 11 who's escaping. Like the mystery is so juicy. Like what happened to Will? What was that monster? You're immediately engaged. And, of course, this is how I came to recognize David Harbour, and he's fantastic. it's such a great start to an amazing show, and I'm really excited to dive into the nitty gritty with you both.
No, just the nitty.
Just the nitty.
We're not going to talk about the gritty.
I've seen Gritty. All right, that mascot's terrifying.
You can hit the gritty, but you can't dive into it. Yeah.
What about you, Kit Laser? You weren't even Kit Laser when we started the show.
I was. I've changed my name. I've changed. I've had 3 careers since we started the show, and we've come so far. We're a good 30 miles away from where this show started.
I know, right?
I mean, you heard that first intro.
Steve used to drive like 45 minutes at 3 a.m. to my log cabin to record this show, and I would say things like "Tilda Swinton" without context, and we didn't even laugh. It was just like a keep it moving. Yeah, I was a pizza restaurant manager when we recorded that episode. In fact, I was rolling dough in the basement, not rolling in the dough, literally rolling dough, listening to a podcast on my Beats wireless when I had the idea. And I called Andy and I said, we should cover Stranger Things. Season 2 is about to come out. We can rewatch season 1 and we'll call it Streaming Things because that's funny. Sounds like it. Mm-hmm. And then if it does well, we can cover other shows because it's just called Streaming Things and everything's streaming and it'll still fit.
Look how that worked out.
And here we are, baby.
Call it Binge and Nerd.
And then
oh yeah, the Binge and Nerd tag.
Oh yeah, the binge and Nerd. That was inappropriate. And then I sold cars after my life fell apart, and we stopped podcasting at all for a good while until we got that email that touched us. And then I worked in mental health and substance abuse treatment for a few years. And until I quit because my TikTok was doing well enough that I was able to support myself. And now I talk about movies and shows full time. So, I mean, just light years different. My son just turned 12 and he was like 4 when we started doing this. And now he's watching Stranger Things like on his own. Like he just did a complete rewatch. And I have a daughter that's about to turn 3, anyway, yeah. Life's weird. Everybody's life's different than it was 8 years ago. And the world is it's probably worse.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, like objectively much worse.
Yeah.
But life finds a way, as Jeff Goldblum would say, if he's in character as Ian Malcolm. And I'm so touched and grateful. And I'm not going to be this sappy on every episode, but yeah, it was kind of surreal when I pressed play and the like it felt fucking good.
Yeah.
And this episode's incredible. It really is. Anything that gets as popular as this show is just naturally it's just human nature to question if it deserves its place in pop culture. And so I think now there's a lot of discourse about how it's overrated, which is a word I hate using anyway. That's dumb. It just means other people like something too much. That's a nothing thing to say criticism wise about something. And a lot of its cast are not the people we thought they were. And there's all kinds of baggage now, as with anything, as time goes on, because everybody's human and fallible and the world's gross and icky. But if you just look at just the writing and all these unknown actors, except for Winona Ryder and Matthew Modine, just doing the absolute best you can do. And it's just hitting a spot in pop culture history at just the right time. It's so fucking good. It just reeks, like Andy said, it reeks of something that 2 people, Matt and Ross Duffer, put so much passion and heart in and so much effort for multiple years. And they thought about so many different angles and they had it planned and lived in. It's so fucking good, man.
Yeah. Actually, I bought the book Stranger Things, Worlds Turned Upside Down, and it's like a production book of the first couple seasons. It gives you like some behind the scenes stuff, and I've been reading that in anticipation of doing our rewatch here. And it's fascinating to me. Like early on, there's this little bit where the Duffers are talking about how their original pitch for the show was called Montauk, and it would take place in Montauk because that's where a lot of government conspiracy stuff kind of happens. It's on the East Coast, which kind of leans into the Stephen King inspirations that are littered through so much of Stranger Things. But when they were pitching it, they got like 20 no's, and all of the no's are basically like, hey, we hate that it takes place in the 1980s, and we hate that it's a story about children that's not for children. And it's incredible because I think those are the 2 reasons why the show is so successful.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? Fuck the entire career of the two most successful storytellers on the planet, Stephen King and Steven Spielberg. And you know what I mean? Like, that's never going to work.
Right. Like, that's insane. And it wasn't until like Sean Levy and Dan Cohen read the script and like supported them when they pitched it to Netflix. And Netflix at the time was at this point where they're like, well, Orange is the New Black is slowing down. House of Cards is, oh boy.
Sure.
We need something new and different. Hey, this looks new and different. And they just happen to be at the right place, right time for Netflix specifically.
That's something I was thinking about too. And I think it's worth noting is that Netflix is not what Netflix was back then.
No,
they were the underdog when this came out. And it was like, hey, they're actually making good stuff. If you guys watched Orange is the New Black, have you watched Daredevil? That shit rocks. And it was like hip and cool. And they were saving canceled shows. They weren't famous for canceling good shows. They were saving them. Like, pull them over to Netflix. We'll take them.
Yeah.
And it's partially because of this show that Netflix is this Wall Street juggernaut now. It's not the most popular show that Netflix has ever had. In fact, Wednesday is, I think, the second most, and then Squid Game is number one. And then there's even something recently that came out that has gotten more streams, whatever that is, than Stranger Things. But Stranger Things is the bread and butter, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see how they pivot once the show officially ends. But yeah, I think this whole first season, I will likely feel on my rewatch is a masterpiece. And I'll be curious to see what we rank the seasons. I know we've done that many times, and Andy's higher on 2 than most people. Loves 3.
I'm highest on 3 for sure.
Yeah, and so I'm curious what I'll think.
Yeah, now that time has passed.
Super excited, but let's get into the scene by scene, play by play recap of episode 1, chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers, right after a word from one of our sponsors. And we're back. Netflix describes the first episode thusly. On his way home from a friend's house, young Will sees something terrifying. Nearby, a sinister secret lurks in the depths of a government lab.
Oh, I got chills.
And we start on November 6th, 1983, Hawkins, Indiana, at the Hawkins Laboratory, National Department of Energy.
I geeked out when that title card came up because I'm like, oh yeah, Stranger Things Day is November 6th. Because of this, our live show this year is November 7th.
Woo!
Oh,
which is
fun.
one day after. I didn't even think about that being November 7th. For the tickets still on sale, by the way.
Yeah, get them now.
Yeah, it just felt so comfy and good to settle down into this. As soon as it said Hawkins, I was like, ooh,
here we go.
And this date is very important, or will be.
Will be?
Will
I see what you didn't do there, Andy. That's just a normal word. Tilda Swinton. It opens with a man in a lab coat running down a dark hall. There's an alarm sounding, lights flickering. He's frantically trying to get to the elevator to get it to open. By the way, take the stairs in any emergency, right?
Right. If you have to press the button and wait for more than a second, go for the stairs.
Was there not a stairwell?
Maybe not. It is a top secret government lab. Maybe they want as
OSHA's still going to want, or not OSHA, but you know, whoever's in charge of safety.
Whoever the government stooge is that has to go into secret labs across the government. And actually, we need handrails here when you're doing the dangerous experiments.
Yeah. If there's let's say, for instance, a fire or a metaphysical vagina opens.
You're going to want something to hold on to.
That's right. But he gets in the elevator finally, and it's so well shot. It's so tense. And I tried to put myself in the headspace of the very first time I watched this throughout. And this is pretty scary at times, right?
Yeah.
And something guttural above him yanks him up. It's just like,
oh, I love the little Demogorgon noise that like the little noise it does.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
But not.
Isn't that what Caraxes in House of the Dragon kind of makes a similar like noise?
Caraxes.
Caraxes.
Demogorgon. Any hoozle. He gets killed. And that's the opening. That's the cold open that we get. And I love how the transitions are so good because then we meet the main cast, the kids, right? Like Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will. And the first thing right after this death we get is Mike going, something's coming. Must be hungry for blood. It's such a perfect transition.
Yeah.
They're playing D&D. It's our kids.
This was the first scene that the Duffers wrote for the show and filmed for this season.
Oh, nice.
And they were apparently like super, again, we have to step back and realize like how insane it is that Netflix gave millions of dollars to these two unproven filmmakers.
Yeah.
And who then went and hired a bunch of child actors to be the anchor for that show. And so they were like kind of nervous, like, how's this going to go? But, obviously all four of these boys are incredible and knock it out of the park. And like, how could you not want to watch more of the show after seeing these kids play D&D? And
they are truly special.
Yeah.
And they haven't done, like, Mike's a director now. I don't know if you guys saw, Andy, you'd like it for sure. It's a horror movie that came out called Hell of a Summer.
Okay.
Finn Wolfhard?
Yeah. Finn Wolfhard is a director. Did I call him Mike?
You said Mike, and I'm like,
it's true though, isn't it? It is Mike.
Yeah.
Finn Wolfhard co-wrote and co-directed.
That's awesome.
A slasher comedy, and it's a riff on like Crystal Lake and stuff. Obviously, not many people liked it. I thought it was great, but Dustin just did that like reality prank show, getting Matarazzo.
Yeah, he's bigger, I think, on stage, like theater. Because he has a theater background before
He's
this
got a
show.
voice, man, that kid can sing.
Story. We'll get there. But they're so talented. Their chemistry is so good. And it's not easy to do this kind of scene and like sell D&D to an audience and just, these kids are getting it. You know what I mean? Like, this is fun.
Boom.
And not only is this scene so great because of what the kids are doing, but it's genius writing because it's unbeknownst to you as you're watching it. Yeah. It's literally telling you what the plot is. Like, it hungers for blood. Demogorgon does sniff out blood, like cast protection or use firebolt. He grabs the gun later on.
Troglodytes, the school bullies.
Yeah.
It's all there. But yeah, they think it's the Demogorgon, but no, wait, they're relieved that it's just troglodytes in game in D&D, right? But no, wait, it is the Demogorgon. Oh, we're so screwed.
Cast fireball.
And Will doesn't know what to do. It's his turn. They're arguing about whether or not to cast fireball or protection.
And you learn so much about the characters there. Lucas is like the brave, hot-headed one. Dustin's very cautious, and he doesn't know what to. And Will is like indecisive. Yeah, yeah. It's good stuff, man.
Matchies.
And Mike's the leader.
Yeah, because he's the DM.
Yeah.
But yeah, he decides to cast fireball and rolls the dice. It has to be at least a 13 to be effective. And I love how there's nothing cooler. And you don't learn this until you're older. Like, these kids are bullied. They think they're nerds. They don't, they're never going to have friends except each other. But actually, when you grow up, you realize that what is cool is being passionate. Being invested in something and being brave enough to care.
Yeah.
And I love this little shot that focuses on Dustin. When he rolls the dice, he goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh my God, oh my God. Because he wants to know what it is.
He's so stressed,
the
right?
edge of his seat.
And this doesn't matter, but that's all life is things that don't matter mattering. Otherwise, what's the point? And that's a dumb maybe take, but I just think it's so special that
beautiful.
Dustin's over there so invested.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Because as I get older, I only want to hang out with people like that when we're doing anything, But then Cara Buono.
Friend of the pod, Cara Buono.
Yeah, technically. she was on the pod. She comes down. She says, it's time to wrap it up. They've been playing for 10 hours. And she almost gives Mike that extra 20 minutes until she finds that out.
Wait, you've been playing for 10 hours?
Get the fuck out of here. Wait, you're my son. Everyone else. Yeah, and that's awesome. And I remember my son, I just said that he was rewatching Stranger Things. Yesterday, he watched like 13 episodes of Stranger Things and built the Rivendell Lego set all day.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I just was thinking, you son of a bitch. Like, I can't do that, even on a Saturday, without like feeling guilty. I should have done the dishes. I should have mowed the lawn. I still haven't figured out my EIN or, you know what I mean? Like, it just the freedom, and you don't know it yet. So jealous. But yeah, so they worked for 10 hours on this campaign. I didn't know it was going to take that long. He already worked for 2 weeks on it, but it's taken 10 hours.
D&D campaigns do take a while if you do them right.
They do. We do at least one every year now. And
I joined a D&D team. I imagine
you work hard on that.
Briefly last year. Very hard. I joined a D&D team briefly last year, and like, I think I did 4 sessions with them before I had to quit. But we
wasn't getting as much ass as you thought you would.
Nowhere in that campaign. No, yeah. It's like, I am a turtle man named Fog. And they're like, oh, do me.
Were you really a turtle man?
Yeah, whatever that race of I basically was a Ninja Turtle, but with amnesia, who didn't remember his backstory, so his name was Fog.
Oh, you did that to be lazy and not have a backstory?
No. Like in my head, I wanted to give the Dungeon
He's actually
Master
Donatello. He just doesn't remember.
I added this bit where like my character had like a wooden duck toy that he didn't know whose it was, but he kept with him because it was what he had when he woke up. And whenever he comes across another member of the turtle people, they get away from him like he's like cursed or something, and he doesn't know why. And so I gave enough of these things to the Dungeon Master with the hopes that they would tell me what it was, because I wanted to play like I didn't know what I was doing.
Meta.
Yeah.
That's
I wanted to
cool.
be meta with it, and then I had to quit after
And then
that.
you
He
gave up.
disappeared and no one ever saw him again.
He walked into the fog and was never seen nor heard from again.
You ruined the campaign. No big deal. But Ted's useless over there. Karen, he like looks to him for help a little bit at every turn, and he's over there fixing the bunny ears on the TV antenna.
Listen to your mom.
I don't know what's going on. And downstairs, the kids are like, they find the dice or the die, and it was a 7. So he would have lost. He would have died.
Did Will see it? Then it doesn't count.
Keep that to your fucking self,
Mike
Will.
see it.
Didn't count if he didn't see it, right? That's what Lucas says. Dustin goes up. He asks for the extra pizza, goes up to Nancy's room. She's in there on the phone. And he waves to her. You want some pizza? It's pepperoni and sausage. And she gets up and slams the door in his face.
Oh,
Something's wrong with your sister, Mike.
How could you do that to sweet Dustin?
What do you mean?
She's a douchebag now that she's dating Steve Harrington.
Mm-hmm.
She was always a douchebag. No, remember she dressed up as an elf 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So we get a lot about every character in such a fun, organic way. And then this is the most telling of any character. Will's little save the cat moment when he tells Mike it was a 7. The Demogorgon got me. And you know immediately Will's an honest kid.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Good boy.
My boy.
Not my boy. He's good.
And Mike's outdoor like little patio light flickers ominously.
That was strange.
Or things. He notices it.
It says that in the script. Strange.
And then turns it off. And then the 3 ride home together because Lucas lives really close to Mike. So he kind of veers off almost immediately and he's home already. And then eventually, now that it's just Dustin and Will decide to have a race. And the winner can request any comic book from the other that they require, which is crazy rules. But Will dusts him immediately.
Yeah, he does.
He
That's why his
cheats,
name's
though.
Dustin.
So he's not all good.
He
He's like,
doesn't
we're going to
cheat.
race. Let's go.
I didn't say go. That's something the slower person will always say,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that was Dustin's fault. He didn't specify the rules. He just threw out the prize and got hoisted by his own petard.
Any
And
kid
that might
starting a
be
race.
the first of many. Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. That is his frequent refrain. But yeah, if you're worth your salt at all at starting races, you got to say light post is the starting point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ready to
You gotta quickly lay some ground rules. But now Will rides alone after winning the race. He requests X-Men number 134 from Dustin. And but he's riding home alone and he's near the laboratory because you see some kind of like government signs that say no trespassing.
And Will's family lives like on the city outskirts, kind of closer to the lab than anyone else.
Well, we've established on our first coverage of the show, everything is near the lab.
Yeah.
It moves around.
Yeah. If you look at a map, though, it claims it's over there.
And then the Demogorgon kind of runs him off the road and he crashes and leaves his bike in fear. And it's scary the way that it's silhouetted there. Like,
On this most recent rewatch, I found it funny, the idea of the Demogorgon was just as scared as Will at that moment, because the Demogorgon turns and looks up like, oh shit, I'm gonna get run over. Oh no.
you're supposed to follow the rules of the road as though you're a motor vehicle, even though you're on a bike.
Are you okay? Why are you running?
Come here. I want to sort of check on you. And he takes off. No one is home when he gets home. Both Jonathan and his mother, Joyce, are working. So he's like, Jonathan, Mom. No one's there.
That's so spooky, seeing the Demogorgon in silhouette. I mean, the first shot of it makes me jump
like-
every time, even though I know it's coming.
Seeing it
terrifying.
through the laundry and stuff.
In
when
the
he's
mist.
Peeking out the window.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He tries to call 911, but the phone doesn't work. It's all static. So he runs out back to the shed, loads the fucking rifle, locked, stocked, ready to go, pointed at the door. I think I said this in our coverage before. I don't remember how they explain this or if they ever do. But the Demogorgon in this scene and maybe in this whole season has abilities it doesn't really have. And this is why I wanted to talk about future stuff a little bit because I think it's interesting.
Okay.
We later learn, right, that the Demogorgon is coming through the rift made by Elle, right? Through the vagina.
It can like go in and out of the upside down.
And there's a tree as well that she's maybe accidentally created other holes in reality. But he like teleports into Will's shed here. And it seems to like he can come in and out at will.
Yeah.
But can he?
He also like can unlock the door from the outside.
He has some psychic ability.
Yeah.
And I don't think he does that a whole lot going forward. But what's this about? And maybe more of it's explained about what Vecna is actually doing than I remember. I've only seen season 4 once, but
I always took it as an explanation where when 11 touches the Demogorgon, he is now aware of our world and now he can pass in and out as he.
But he doesn't use that ability later.
He does.
And it's interesting that he has that ability.
But to your point, like I think by the time we get to later seasons, the Demogorgons in those seasons aren't doing.
They're
things.
nerfed.
Yeah.
Nerfed Gorgons.
Well, they're like crazy physical beasts that.
Yeah, you just rewatched all this shit. You could be a little more helpful here.
I don't think in the battle sequences in the school that he does a lot of like now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah, like he's not fucking Nightcrawler is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Which is
he's bamfing.
You're implying he's Nightcrawler and he's not.
Well, less bamf and more. Let me open this door here.
Sure, less bamf. But the Demogorgon is in the shed with him. It's a great scene because he's pointing at the door. It's so fucking scary, and you get that moment where you're just like, "Oh, I'm fucked," you know.
Yeah, Will turns around and sees that thing. Okay, I'm not even gonna scream.
And the light is very important, like because there's Demogorgon activity. It gets really bright and such a good opening to one of the best title sequences of all time. All these tiny glimpses of each letter with the synth score and that awesome song. So fucking epic. God damn, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
It felt like coming home.
With Matthew Modine.
Ooh. And then
I found it was so shocking watching this episode now, having seen all 4 seasons. It was shocking to me that like Noah Schnapp, Joe Keery aren't in the main title sequence. They're like also starring like as the episode starts. They're in that bunch of crew. And I'm like, this is wild that they're not in the main credits yet. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, especially like I think David Harbour has had the biggest blow up career of all of them. Mm-hmm. He's like a huge movie star now.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. You get this opening scene where we meet Hopper and there's the news is how it opens and it's talking about
drawing from a child on his wall out of place in that guy's trailer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it might be
a trailer.
It might be not a mobile home. I don't think it moves, but it's like
it's a lake house.
Like a double wide.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a stationary one on the lake there. It's cold out, but the news is talking about the weather. It's going to rain later that night, which does actually come back. It's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about how there have been surges and power outages all across the county, specifically East Hawkins. Is the lab on the east side of town, Steve? Have you looked at the map?
The map I have, I think it's like southwest.
That's a bummer.
East-westerish of Will's house.
That's right.
Yes.
And Hopper's passed out on the couch. He goes out and has a brisk ciggy with his pants undone. We talked about back then we smoked and we're like, that is the move for sure. You don't care. You just want to get that nicotine, baby. Takes a shower, takes his meds, drinks a beer, has another cigarette. And it's such a good reveal that he's the sheriff. Because like this whole opening sequence, you're like who is this dump truck? Yeah.
Looks like some pill bottles laying around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he puts the badge on and you're like, figures. And then we cut to Joyce at home. She's asking Jonathan for help finding her keys. And it's like, Winona fucking Ryder, you know?
Yeah.
It's neat. Will isn't awake yet is what they think. Jonathan's over there cooking breakfast. But wait, he's not there.
You have to make sure that he's up and cook the breakfast and do all the other things around the house, Jonathan.
Yeah, poor Jonathan.
Jaybird.
He's asked to be wise beyond his years, had more responsibilities than he's supposed to have. He took an extra shift because he thought they might need the cash.
And then there's that small detail where she's like, where are my keys? Check the couch. I've already checked them, but they're there.
Yeah.
Jay Bird knows.
He's the mother of his mother sometimes. And she's chastising him for taking the shift because nobody was there to watch their kid. And he's like, it's fine. He's probably just at the Wheelers. Like, I just thought we need the cash. And she's so hard on him. Like, you can't be doing that. I'm so angry with you.
I can't believe you.
This is why your dad left you. Fuck, dude.
My boys. I'm going to say it a little mad. Joyce is a great mom, though. Like, immediately, you know, she's trying her best. Single mom, working 2 jobs.
She's
keep
Reba
these 2 boys.
McEntire.
Working 9 to 5.
Single mom works 2 jobs. Never stops.
That was Dolly, yeah.
My bad.
I didn't know any Reba songs
Here's
off the
your
top of my
one
head.
chance, fancy, don't let me down.
It's same vibe, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But she calls the Wheeler family to see if Will's there, and they're having breakfast. You get to see Mike and Nancy being shitty to each other in the background.
I mean,
Ew,
Mike deserves
disgusting.
it, though. He's slathering his eggs with maple syrup.
Have you never
done
put
that
maple
move.
syrup on eggs?
I mean,
When
not to that extent.
If it touches the pancakes, it's still yummy. It's
he
just
wanted
sugar.
to drown those eggs, though.
Well, he's a disgusting boy.
He is.
But Will isn't there. And Joyce kind of covers that up at embarrassment a little bit because they're othered. They're poor.
Mm-hmm.
They have no dad there. The Wheelers are over there in suburbia.
Of course, that Joyce Byers has lost track of her.
You don't know where
kid.
Will is? Yeah. And she's like, oh, no, he's probably at school. Like, I get that vibe of being
Yeah.
like, let's not panic yet. Everybody judges us enough.
But that small little pregnant pause when she hangs up and her and Jonathan are looking at each other like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Because like, where else would he be? He doesn't have that many friends, right?
Yeah.
And he's a good kid, as Joyce later tells Hopper. Like normal kid skipping stuff is not going to be an option here. But Lucas, Dustin, and Mike ride their bikes to school together. They're weirded out that Will's not there, but they're like, he's probably here early studying for Gursky's
Tests.
pop quiz.
Yeah.
Fucking Gursky. He's always paranoid Gursky's going to pop a quiz on him. And then we get the comically awful bullies. But it fits because this is like an 80s movie, right? And they were always like that. I'll fucking slit your throat, bitch. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Gen X, is that what school was like? Is that the way you are? Jesus.
Every bully has to be psychotic. Yeah.
Yeah, but now we only worry about cyber bullies.
But these 2 bullies are such doofuses, you know? Troy and James. James is very much, he's appropriately named. He definitely gives James from Pokemon energy.
James.
I'm here too.
Yeah. And they make Dustin do like the arm thing. Do the arm thing, freak. And
Was
they
the
make
arm thing that
it's
weird?
like a double jointed shoulder thing, I
Maybe
guess.
because he's
He
wearing
doesn't
like
have collarbones, so his shoulders go further in than they're supposed to.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I watched
and
this
this is
a couple
all
times
real
wondering
about
what-
Peyton Matarazzo, right?
Yeah.
Because he does have cleidocranial dysplasia, right?
A lot of the things about the boys, they actually went back and rewrote the characters slightly to fit their personalities and their stories a little bit better. So yes, I think Gettin has this condition, so they wrote that in. So
My teeth will grow in. It's called cleidocranial dysplasia. Idiot.
Do the thing, toothless.
I think it's a superpower.
Damn right. And then we cut to Nancy, and I love what they do here because Nancy's walking into school with Barb. And the score gets all like whimsical as Nancy's POV kicks up.
Yeah.
And it's all like John Hughes all of a sudden because that's where her head's at. I think that was really clever.
Well, these early episodes, the teenagers are filmed like they're in a John Hughes movie, the adults in a John Carpenter movie, and the children in a Steven Spielberg movie. And that was like a conscious choice to make.
Nice.
Filming these scenes.
Nice. And you can tell. We made out a couple times. She's talking about Steve. Barb's kind of ribbing her.
Just don't be friends with Tommy H. or Carol, please.
Oh, and now that we know Tommy H. and
Gross.
Carol, like on a rewatch, it's like, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Fucking awful people.
Run, girl. They suck.
They're definitely going to eventually be in Natural Born Killers at best. And Steve is going to make her super cool now. That's what Barb's worried about. Just don't leave me behind, right? Because Steve's a popular kid.
Steve Harrington.
We've only made out twice. We're definitely not going to even hang out again. And then she has a note in her locker. And we cut to her making out with Steve a third time in the bathroom.
Ooh.
Steve's not allowed in there.
No.
I assume it's the girls' bathroom.
What if she met him in the boys' bathroom?
Maybe. Doubt it.
It's too clean. You're right.
Yeah, the boys' bathroom would be chaos. They're slipping in piss. There's 6 other dudes in there like, me next.
Smoking ciggies and shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever do this move in high school? Meet me in the bathroom?
No.
Yeah, me either.
That's definitely not okay.
Yeah, because I didn't think it was cool to do that, and it wasn't because I didn't have a girlfriend.
No, I remember some action behind like an air conditioner, like one of the big outdoor ones.
Ooh, drown out the noise.
Yeah, I was like walking her. Yeah, that's why. I was walking her home, and we hid behind there for a while. No, never meet me in the bathroom. That's craziness.
My high school girlfriend went to a different high school. She was totally real, though, I swear.
I met her. He wants to come over and study, quote unquote. And she's like, no, I really actually have to study. And he's like, I'll just climb in your window. I'm stealthy like a ninja. She gives in finally because he's such an idiot, Steve Harrington.
No.
In a cute way. Meet me at Dearborn and Maple at 8 p.m. So that's her plan. We cut to Hopper showing up late for work at the sheriff's office, which is hilarious. He's the sheriff and he's rolling in at 10:12 probably. Morning, Flo. Good of you to show up.
Man, Chief, you look like shit.
Yeah, your wife said I looked great when I left this morning.
Got him.
His serial killer, sociopath cop buddies. They're going to come in handy here soon for good content.
Callahan in particular, that dude has bodies buried somewhere.
But the kids are stealing Phil Larson's gnomes again. Oh, shit, I'll get right on that, right? So he's been a sheriff here for 4 years, straight from Chicago, right?
I think so.
And he's from here, but he went to be a police officer in the big city for a long time. And there has not been a single incident in this town for 4 straight years. So that's why he's just getting high and getting drunk and hanging out.
Joyce Byers' kids missing? Okay.
I love how she says that after Phil Larson's gnomes are being stolen again.
Yeah, Joyce is there.
Yeah, he's literally in his office.
Maybe open with that, Flo. Don't be like, well, I told him.
Not to blame Flo for all of Hopper's clear malfeasance.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hopper's definitely the one in the wrong on this.
Flo's kind of slacking too, let's be honest. Oh, yeah, by the way.
Are for coffee and contemplation.
Oh, the classic coffee and contemplation. One of the best lines of all time, right? Coffee and contemplation. But he's not aware because he's not listening that Joyce is in his office. So we smash cut to him.
Joyce heard all of that? Like she's like by the door, like, that son of a bitch.
She knows him well enough.
That's my boy.
That's my boy. We smash cut to him filling out the missing persons report, and he's very dismissive. He's probably just playing hooky. No, he wouldn't do that. Nobody thought I would be banging old Susie Q in the Oldsmobile. And he's like, well, he's not you. I'm telling you, he's not doing that.
Yeah.
Lonnie used to say he was queer.
Is he?
What's wrong with his clothes?
Is missing. Yeah, right.
The way he says what's wrong with his clothes, just Hopper would make fun of a kid with bad clothes.
Yeah, what's he dressed like? But she's like, no, I haven't. Like, what about Lonnie? What's Lonnie saying about all this? Who's her ex-husband, the father of Jonathan and Will? She hasn't heard from Lonnie in a year. He's living in Indianapolis or something like that. And Hopper says, look, man, 99 out of 100 times when a kid goes missing, he's with a family member. And Joyce says, what about the other time? The one. And he says, listen, Joyce, the worst thing in the 4 years I've been sheriff here that has ever happened in this town is that time the owl attacked Eleanor Gillespie's head because he thought it was a nest.
Took it clean off.
Just beheaded her.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah, that's what the owl said. It's the final words before it struck Eleanor.
You won't be laughing when it kills you.
Poopy man. And then we see Dr. Brenner and the gang.
Oh, there he is.
Going through Code Red at the lab. They're getting suited up. And there's carnage and fungus and some kind of floating ash-like substance down there in the basement. They find a wall vagina. None of them
squelchy
have ever seen it before. What is this?
I can finally find the spot.
Varys is over there. Ask me about my gash.
Marty B.
His voice is so good. In the girl, she can't have gone far.
She can't have gone far.
Oh, it's so good. Then we cut to a girl in a hospital gown walking barefoot in the forest, head shaved close. And it is, of course, later we find out 11.
I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of watching this for the first time, but like how my brain had to take all this information. Okay, there's a monster, broke out of the lab. It abducted this little boy. And there's a giant vagina on the wall.
Sure.
That's doing some undulating squelching for sure. And the guy goes, what about the girl? She can't go far. Here's this girl. What is happening at this lab?
That's true.
What are they doing here?
It's a lot to process. She sees Benny taking out the trash at the back of a restaurant at his burger joint. And she sneaks in to steal some French fries. He's over there talking with some old hillbillies that love basketball.
Mr. Basket.
37 points a game for now. You know, they're having a good time.
37 in a row.
And he catches her stealing the fries, and she's going to town on them fries. Those must be like the seasoned Five Guys fries or
Seasoned
something.
curlies.
These are Rally's fries. Hell yeah.
You big
It's the
fan of
first
Rally's
fry
fries?
she's ever
Ever had
had.
Rally's fries?
I'm sure I have, but I wouldn't think of them as best fries.
Best fries in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Rally's fries.
I'm going to go Bard's Burgers for best fries, me personally.
Which burgers?
Bard's Burgers.
In Latonia.
Oh, I haven't been there.
Oh, what is it? Wagyu beef, my guy.
Ooh, that does sound good.
But like diner style, you know, it's so
Benny
fucking
style?
good. And he's such a piece of shit. He's like, you know, you can get a cheese coney instead of fries on the side of your burger.
God bless America is all I'm saying.
But the fries are so good. I've never finished a burger and been like, I could go for a hot dog right now.
Well, no, you don't finish. You go bang, bang. You know what I mean? A bite of this, bite of that.
A little chili on that ass.
That's what 11 should have been eating. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, Steve hit me to this, Andy. If you're ever, I don't know if your wife's a Star Wars fan, but if you're sleeping with a Star Wars fan, there's nothing hotter than to say, I'm about to go boss nass on that ass and go.
Misa like
You don't go that far.
No, you're all in or you're not at all. All right. All or nothing, baby.
No, you're just mid-sex. You go, I was supposed to get power converters later.
That's not boss nass.
On that
You
ass.
can't just quote random Star Wars things, Andy. I was afraid you wouldn't recognize me without my arm. You can't just say whatever.
Joy to cause.
Oh, then you're really getting in with your buddy. And now there are two of them. But he goes, Benny turns around back to Stranger Things and says, hey. And I love that she takes the fries when she runs.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Like they're almost gone, but she's like, no, these are awesome.
Yeah, these are great, man.
And Benny fucking tackles her and he's like, you think you could steal from me, boy? And
What in the hell?
he thought it was just some asshole homeless kid and he was going to fuck him up. Oh,
you
wait.
think you can steal from Betty?
It's a girl.
Oh,
What the hell?
It's
Sorry,
Benny
ma'am.
time.
sorry, man.
Like, no matter what, this is a poor, hungry kid in a hospital gown, Benny.
Well, from his perspective, I bet he only through that serving window, he only saw like the head of a kid.
Yeah.
Didn't see the
He thought it was
nightgown.
Troy or James.
James is in there daily trying to steal shit.
Yeah, always dipping in his ice cream.
James here. I'm gonna have the Bang Bang hot dog hamburger combo for free.
Only Andy knows about that.
Meows, that's right.
But when he takes in the full picture of 11, he's like, what the fuck? Like, you need some help, right? And later on in the show, Hopper says a line about Benny. I've dealt with a lot of murders. It's usually strangers. Benny was my friend.
Yeah.
And when you meet Benny in this episode, he would have been such good friends with Hopper. Like, imagine, like, I would watch
bros.
I would watch an entire show of just Benny and Hopper hanging out, solving crimes.
Hopper finishes his shift at the police station and he goes and gets a
Hopper
burger
is
at Benny's.
mid-shift at the police station,
Yeah, Benny's bang bang.
pounding
for
beers
lunch.
at work, talking to Benny for sure. But we cut from the scene with Benny to Mr. Clark.
Yes. Mr. Clark can get it.
Steve's biggest crush.
Love him.
And this is such a great introduction to more characterization, not just about Mr. Clark, but further about the boys, because he's shouting all this stuff about this quiz that's going to be coming to an apathetic class, rushing out. And then the camera pans, and it's our three beloved nerds happily standing at the
Rapt
desk.
attention.
Did it come?
Hi. And it's the gang. And they're so excited for their Heathkit Ham Shack radio.
That shot of them so close to him after all the rest of the class just left and didn't care, and it cuts to them. That is genius comedic filmmaking. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And it tells you so much about these 4 people.
And they go in to play with the Heathkit Ham Shack, and he informs them that it can reach Australia.
Think bigger. And there's this great bit where Lucas says, Will's going to lose his shit. And Mr. Clark has to step in, Lucas. But then it cuts back to him. He's got that smile like these kids are having a great time.
He is going to lose his
He's
shit.
such a good teacher.
Yeah.
And he can get it.
He truly is going to lose his shit. You're right, Lucas. Yeah. And then
This is
do the
Dustin. Do you eat kangaroos for breakfast?
because these are theater kids, so they do great Australian accents, right?
This is Mike Wheeler.
What is it? President of the Hawkins IV Club.
IV Club.
And we learn about their roles in this organization as well. I don't think Dustin would be a good treasurer, but he's for some reason is.
Well, he's the more fiscally conservative of the 3.
You think so? He does have more quarters in other seasons for the arcade.
Yeah. I want to know what Lucas's role was. They don't get to Lucas. The principal comes in before Lucas can have a shot at the radio.
He's the muscle.
Yeah. He's got the arm rocket. What's it called?
The slingshot.
They call it something
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
later on in the season. But
Every AV club needs a heavy.
but then the principal and the cops show up and they want to speak to the boys raining on their parade. Smash cuts to them in the office. They're all talking at once to Hopper, who does not have time for this shit.
One at a time.
And they inform him that Will always takes Mirkwood home. It's from The Hobbit, not Lord of the Rings. Does it fucking matter?
He asked.
Turns out that's actually near the corner of Cornwallis and Curly, where they meet. I know it. We'll take you there. I said I know it. Mm-hmm. None of you guys go out looking for your dumbass friend who dresses shitty, apparently. I don't remember what he looks like, which is really funny.
I assume a smaller Winona Ryder. Maybe with a bowl cut. I don't know.
Do I make myself clear? I will beat the shit. Me and Benny, my buddy, you haven't met him yet. We beat kids.
He's my best friend.
I love him. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he gets real intimidating with these kids. And Callahan's like eating it up like, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Hit him. Because that guy's
he's just bored.
Crazy person.
He's just bored. We cut to Joyce. This is such a good, everything is so good. Joyce investigating Castle Byers, but it's a flashback.
Yeah.
So Will's in there in his fort and he's got the Radagast password.
She's such a good mom because she remembered the password and she's playing into it.
Yeah.
But also the small little detail, I love it so much. He has a doorbell button. That's not working.
Doesn't plug into anything.
But she's still leaning into the
ding dong,
the playhouse of hanging out with your kid. She pretends, hello, Radagast, can I come in?
Ding dong.
Got you poltergeist tickets.
Yeah, she bought him some movie tickets, but he better not be scared this time.
I'll give you my witch. Ooh, my witch is going to get you.
But in the present, he's not there. It's empty when she checks.
Well.
By the way, this brings me to our will call.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I tried it.
You tried it?
I got a count. Did you get a count?
No, I didn't count.
I don't remember what you counted. I don't know if I caught them all. I really only started earnestly counting when he was verified to be missing, which I think was right around here. So I don't know if it's but I got 21.
Okay.
So I'll try to keep up with this if I remember, but we did a thing years and years ago.
Will call.
We called the will call, where Steve tried to track how many times they shouted the name Will.
Will.
And I believe it's 21 times in this first episode.
Okay. I'm glad you did it.
The people, I got to give the people what they want.
That's true.
For the same reason you busted out the MadLibs, But we cut back to Benny. He's feeding 11 a burger now. He's a good fucking guy. Cooked her up a burger knowing that she was hungry. And he's trying to ask what happened to her. She's not responding. So he takes the food. And he's like, look, I'm not going to give you any more food till you give me something. What's going on? Why are you dressed all weird like that Will kid?
11.
He does that. It's so cute. He goes to shake her hand.
She doesn't even know how to shake a hand.
He introduced, my name's Benny Hammond. What about you?
Let's start simple. And then she can't even do that. And then finally she points at the tattoo on her arm because he sees it.
It me.
Yeah, it me. And he goes, 11? What's that mean? And she goes, no.
Jesus, fuck.
He's like, all right, just eat the burger. Jesus. He goes in the back.
But she eventually does point at herself and say at me.
But what does the no mean?
I think she doesn't want to talk about it. Like she knows that he's in danger by close proximity to her.
But this burger's delicious.
Yeah, seriously.
That coney on the side, though.
I'll even give you some ice cream. Just tell me some details about what the hell's going on. So he goes in the back and he calls emergency services, tells them to come pick up the girl, child services, to come here at 4819 Randolph Lane. And then we find out she has psychic powers because she stops the squeaky fan with her mind.
She puts so much stank on it too.
Oh, she does.
She stares, and when it stops, she's like, "That's what I fucking thought." When she gets back to her burger,
I laughed because knowing Millie Bobby Brown a little bit better now, and like she doesn't even watch movies, like she's just not into that kind of stuff. And she's a kid, and they're like, "All right, and you're stopping the fan with your mind in this scene, so we need something kind of intense to like show that." And like this is what the kid came up with, is just to like fucking blaze her eyes through things, and you know what I mean? Like it's, and you know that on set there was no sound designer, and so it's just this kid staring and everyone quiet on set, like holding in a fart kind of thing. It's funny to me.
Millie Bobby Brown Bon Jovi.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, crazy. She's got psychic powers. What? Hop and the two doofuses are out looking for Will.
Will
at near Mirkwood.
Will Byers.
Yeah, they don't care at all. Well, I guess. And then they find his bike, and Hop is concerned now because he's like, this isn't bad enough to hurt him to where he would leave this bike. And this bike, a bike like this is like a Cadillac to these kids. He wouldn't leave it here. Now, this is the moment where Sheriff Hopper is like, oh, fuck. Something's wrong. And and then the lab seems to be monitoring everyone's phone calls. We hear them tapping into multiple people all over town. And such a good transition, dude. Like the editing, everything is so stellar because they stumble into Joyce's phone call where she's trying to reach Lonnie, but she only reaches that bitch Cynthia instead.
That bitch.
Cynthia.
What a bitch.
And that's how we transition into Joyce's phone call. She hangs up, bitch. And Jonathan's like, Mom, gotta stay calm.
Don't say the B word.
The B word? Oh my goodness.
I'm listening. You didn't even tell me earmuffs.
You didn't say earmuffs.
I'm an impressionable child.
She tries to leave a voicemail for Lonnie. It's a very frustrating experience. Then they hear a car approaching outside. They run outside, and it's so sad because Jonathan's like, it's the cops, and they expect that Will's in the car, and they found him. So they run out so hopeful and scared, but instead it's just Hop bringing Will's bike. Bad news.
There was a child with that. Did you find the child that came with that?
Nope, didn't see one of those. Not even a poorly dressed one. So Cal.
We found this cool kid, though.
Hey, I'm Troy.
Oh, no, it's Troy. Oh, no.
Is this yours? Any kid will do. Callahan and Phil and Hop are now searching the Byers' home. And it sucks because, like, from Joyce's perspective, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But like, he's doing his job, and like, he's from Chicago.
He's fucking good at it too.
It's very like, yeah.
He's immediately like, oh,
dent.
Was this here?
There was a forced entry from the door.
Sure?
He finds the dent from the doorknob.
Right?
Give this thoroughbred with all this talent a reason to use it, and you get a masterpiece, right?
Did you just call Hopper a thoroughbred?
Yeah, he's a thoroughbred. I don't make him like that anymore.
Secretariat style?
Yeah.
Damn.
The stallion.
But yeah, but Joyce is like, are you saying I don't know my own kid? I can't search my own house? Like, you think I didn't look here? I'm not saying that. But yeah, like, it's very statistically likely that there's some foul play at home responsible for this, right? So he's just following up, doing his job now that he knows it's a serious issue. And there's I remember being hard on this when we first covered this, but it is always funny to me that the dog's outside barking at the shed, which is something very specific in that it's never done before. And Joyce just like snatches him up. I don't know, he's probably fucking hungry or something. He's like, oh, the dog that knows your son very well, who is missing, is barking at a specific spot. And you're like, shut up.
I always laugh because Hopper's like, who's this guy? I don't know. And then
I love that.
He
Hey, little
stays,
fella.
he stays knelt down for a beat as if to be like, I was having fun.
Yeah.
with that dog.
Can't pet the doggo, I guess.
Fuck me, I guess.
Remember the name of the dog? That was a trivia question when we did trivia a while
I
ago.
still don't, even though I probably failed that question.
Oh, what is it?
Chester.
Chester.
Chester the dog.
But Hop goes into the shed. I love how the camera emphasizes the light bulb again, because that's the last thing that we saw in there. And that was where it kind of like emphasized the incident, right? So that's really nice that it does that. He finds the bullets immediately, and the bulb starts acting weird and flickers out. And then, do you have subtitles on?
I'm so glad. Yeah, I was just about to bring this up. Yep.
Indistinct squelching.
It's the first squelch in Stranger Things. Indistinct squelching.
Interesting. What does he find over there? Like the broken boards, or what's he looking at?
It's where the Demogorgon came in and ruffled up some boards from over there.
So it didn't teleport in. It crawled through, you think?
Well, I think it probably made a little portal, crawled through that way, and that's how it's in there.
So the portal broke the boards?
Yeah.
Quietly?
Rustled it up, yeah.
Because he didn't hear any ruckus when he was in there
Will's
pointing at the door.
Just indistinct squelching, you know?
Yeah, he's like, what is that squelching? Oh, well, I got to stay
It's
focused
pretty
on this door.
indistinct.
But Callahan scares him as he's exploring that. Now Hopper's in go mode. We got a major incident here. There was squelching.
Call Flo, big guns.
Call Flo. Get a search party together. Tell her to get her piece.
It's time, bitches.
Coffee's on and mama's hot.
I'm here to drink coffee and contemplate, and I'm all out of coffee.
So I'm just going to think.
Yeah.
One of the funniest lines, the kid's missing. It's almost 24 hours. Hopper has found the bike. He's talked to the mother. The family's freaking out. He's in the back shed. Nobody has any leads whatsoever. And Deputy Callahan, you think we got a problem here?
I've been
Have you been fucking paying attention at all?
playing Candy Crush the whole ride over.
You think we got a problem here, Hop?
Wait, there's a kid missing? I thought we found that lady's bike.
Are we not going home? Because I need to tell my mom. I'm going to be missing if I don't call her.
He definitely lives with his mom.
For sure.
Man, I was going to go to Benny's later.
Yeah, I miss Benny. Mike says at his dinner table with the Wheeler family that we should be out looking for Will. And Karen puts the foot down. You need to shut your fucking mouth. That's what you need to do. Ted says nothing. He's Karen cooks
his
good.
chicken.
Loving that chicken. I bet that chicken is made with just salt and pepper.
They just boiled it.
And boiled in a
And Ted loves it.
crock pot. No seasoning whatsoever.
Nobody
You don't
ruined.
think Karen can cook?
Well, it's a white people joke because Ted is like the whitest dude on earth. Clearly sucks. Clearly only has sex once every 3 years by his choice with the lights off under the blankies, missionary only, no kissing. Don't look me in the eye.
That leap year sex.
That's right. That's right. You notice the ages of Nancy, Mike, Holly? Those are the 3 times they've had sex. And Karen is not happy.
No. But Karen is doing the smart mom thing. Like, no.
Yeah, there's a missing kid
There's
in
a
the
missing
neighborhood.
child.
We
None
don't
of
know.
you were going out.
We don't know the source of the missing, and I'm going to keep my children safe. Absolutely. It's not cool to go study at Barb's house because remember, Nancy has a plan to hook up with Steve.
Study.
That's right, quote unquote study. And she says her iconic future line, this is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
Language.
Ted only speaks up if a curse word is uttered in his house.
I don't care if kids are missing. I don't care where my kids are or what they're doing, but we will not be cursing in my earshot.
We're Americans, damn it.
Holly's just sitting there shit-faced.
Holly's wasted. Have some more juice, honey.
Just houses it.
She's over there, drunk as a skunk. And Ted, after Nancy storms off,
What'd I do?
no, you look, see what happens, Mike?
Oh, and
What? Yeah, see what the fuck you did? But he's over there housing his chicken still. And
let him go. He's got to do this himself. What?
he's 12. He's got things to figure out. And she's like, hope you're enjoying your chicken, Ted. She grabs Holly and storms off. And there's the famous, what'd I do? Because he clearly legitimately does not know.
That line permeates into my real life. Like if ever I feel like I'm in trouble,
If you're in the doghouse,
if I'm in the doghouse, what'd I do?
do you use that ever to like take the air out of the room?
Constantly. It's my go-to move.
What'd I do?
It has a 75% success rate, I think.
For sure. Yeah. And then we were at the search party. And Mr. Clark's out there doing his part, looking for Will.
He's such a good teacher.
Yes, thanks for coming out, Teach. If I ever want to be cool and I'm talking to an educator, I call him Teach. It just never works like you think it does. It does in the movies.
Do you also spin chairs around front ways and sit in the AC Slater style?
Always. Always. I pull out a hacky sack and I'm like, you want to dabble?
There's beans in them sacks.
Mr. Clark talks to Hop and about his daughter, Sarah. And Hopper says that she lives with her mom in the city and walks away. And some tea spilling bitch walks right up.
Who is this?
She's dead.
She's fucking dead.
Yeah. He takes Lexapro and I think he's an alcoholic.
I think he did it.
He was lying to you.
He fucked my cousin Betsy at the library and didn't call her.
In his dad's Oldsmobile.
And Mr. Clark's
My cousin
like,
Chrissy Callahan.
what? Well, who are you?
Who are you? Why do you just follow 20 feet behind Topper at all times?
You want to hit this?
She has got all the goss.
I want everyone in Hawkins to know that guy has a dead kid.
That lady, I'm just saying, I don't think she ever comes back. That lady is a terror in Hawkins.
Yes.
Talks hella shit about everybody.
President of the HOA, you know.
But she did inform us.
Awful bitch.
Yeah, for sure. She's the Carol Baskins of Hawkins. But yeah, we find out important info from this lady that his daughter, Sarah, is dead. And that is the source probably of his early morning beers and pill bottles and general apathy. Mm-hmm. But the Demogorgon on the game board zoomed in is the next cut. It's so good. And it's Mike radioing Lucas, his best friend. And it's funny because they talk on these things all the time. So the whole bit about stay over, like, I guess I could see like it's a constant argument they have maybe, but
yeah, they're always bickering about it. And Lucas is just like, dude, who cares?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Jesus.
Come on.
But Mike's like, we got to do something to help Will. And Lucas is like, no way, dude. We got to stay safe. Like our parents told us, no, go. Look, Will could have cast protection. It was the safe move, but he cast fireball to try to help the team, the party. And Lucas is like immediately convinced by this stellar argument.
Meet me in 10.
God damn it, Mike Wheeler, you're right. You son of a bitch, I'm in. And even this little back and forth, because we haven't really gotten to spend a lot of time with Lucas yet. But even this one shot of him in his bedroom, you can kind of see the stuff in the background. You get a little bit more about him. Like he's got the slingshot. He's got some army stuff behind him.
He's ready for action.
Yeah.
And Mike sees Steve climbing up the downspout as he's leaving. And I love the bit where he's just like, fucking Jesus Christ. Like it's just, it's beneath him, you know?
And even Steve's reaction, he's like on the AC unit trying to hop up and he sees him. He's like, oh, hey.
What's up?
And he like leans against the wall and brushes his hair back, like just chilling on your AC unit. No big
Checking
deal.
if these gutters are clogged. Thought you might want to know.
They're looking pretty solid.
This is how it used to be, though, before everybody was a fucking hater and a snitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay. I don't like my sister. I don't like this fucking guy. It's none of my business. Mm-hmm. That's how we used to be as a culture.
As a culture.
Now, just haters everywhere. Instant tweet. Saw Steve Harrington climbing on my air conditioner.
Oh, if this was today, Mike Wheeler would have instantly put him on Snapchat with a dog filter. Like, look at this clown with a clown
Hashtag
emoji.
not a ninja.
Mom. Hashtag not a ninja. But yeah, then Steve's at Nancy's window and she had told him that we weren't able to meet up tonight. I told you I was on house arrest. He forcibly climbs in her room. Told you I was a ninja, even though he's a little stumbly. Mm-hmm. And it's like a charismatic, charming red flag is how I would describe Steve Harrington.
Yeah.
We cut back to Benny sitting with Elle, and she's now eating ice cream. He's doing the dishes. She smiles a little, and he encourages that. Smile looks good on you.
You know, smile.
He's so charming.
What a good guy.
Then there's a knock at the door. He did not expect social services to come out so soon. It's a long drive. And it's Connie Frazier, she says. And he's like, oh, she's right this way. And then she shoots him in the fucking head.
Oh,
Your
my
voice
God.
sounded different on the phone.
Oh, it's so sad, Benny.
It's because it wasn't social services, guys. It was the lab
I,
who
you
had
know,
tapped the phones.
I was wondering, like, I don't hear about social services doing this enough.
They should do it more often, yeah. But then they all come in, guns drawn. Dr. Brenner's there. 2 guys with revolvers are at the back door to stop 11.
Oh no, you shot Benny. He makes the best burgers. I told you, do not shoot Benny.
I wonder if there's any ice cream.
What the fuck?
Hopefully he just has a terrible wound.
Oh my goodness. Benny, can you hear me?
Benny, can you hear me? I don't like this.
But all we get is a sound effect of. But we can assume she fucked him up with her psychic powers because there's just 2 unconscious, maybe dead gunmen at the back door. Dr. Brenner, oh, God damn it.
Good thing I came in through the front door.
Carl, Gary, have you gone the way of Benny?
Oh, Benny, too soon.
All the boys are out looking for Will at this point now.
Well,
Stay on Channel 6. Will. Meanwhile, Steve and Nancy study chemistry. They're learning about polymers and all kinds of good stuff. And he proposes a strip chemistry session.
That is correct.
We've all been there.
Billy Madison.
This is how we used to play Jeopardy as a threesome before we started doing it on the podcast. Whenever I got a question right, Steve would have to take off an article of clothing.
Yeah.
If I got it wrong, I would have to strip. Andy was always just butt naked at the start.
Just showed up that way.
What's up, guys?
Is this how we play?
What's up, guys?
He kept saying, I'm tripped back.
And Steve is trying hard for second base. Nancy's not having it. She's not just another notch on his belt. She's no slut like Amy, Lori, and Becky.
Real hoe bags.
And Steve pulls a Hail Mary. This is a card you don't often successfully play. You pull up the teddy bear and go, bad Steve.
That's a bad thing.
It's a bad Steve. Do you ever try that one if the what I do doesn't work?
Oh, yeah. I just hold up Pippin like, Pippin says you shouldn't be mad at Daddy.
You're insufferable, probably.
That works 100% of the time.
And she says, you're an idiot, Steve Harrington.
You're beautiful, Nancy Wheeler.
And the reason that this works extra well is he pivots right back into helping her study and starts reading the next index card.
Yeah.
That's the move. Joyce at the Byers house is looking at Jonathan's great photography skills. I think they're looking for a photo for Will's missing poster.
Yeah.
But she's like, you're such a good photographer. You take such good. Why is this one with Nancy getting undressed?
Jonathan.
Oh, you know what? We're not going to address this right now.
Bird, I knew I shouldn't have let you hang out with your father as much as you have.
You're just like Lonnie. You're a predator. Oh, Jesus.
Did you introduce him to Cynthia?
So, but she expresses regret at working so much and not being there for him, putting so much pressure on him. And he starts weeping. He's like, I should have been there for Will. I fucked up. I took that extra shift.
It's so heartbreaking.
They only pay me $4.20 an hour. Now he's dead, probably. Let's be honest.
Yeah, maybe even lower.
I got $13 in exchange for a dead brother.
It's so sad because
before taxes.
Before the government take my money. These 2 characters are like, of all the characters we've had, these are the ones that have like the most difficult family life. They're struggling to get by. All they have is each other. And it's so heartbreaking to see Jonathan blame himself for what's happened to his brother when he was just doing what he thought was best for his family by going and just picking up an extra shift.
Joyce just says, you're right. It is your fault.
I wasn't going to say it because you're one of my boys.
My boys.
But this kind of falls at your feet.
We were all thinking it.
The buck stops here. And she just gestures at him.
Yeah, gives him a finger gun.
Yeah. Pew pew.
And she says, he's close. I know it. Because he is, guys. He's just right through an interdimensional wall in the same room. Because she says, Mama knows best. This is what this show teaches us. Because Joyce seems crazy, but she's right about everything. And then she gets a phone call and it's just someone breathing. And she says, Will, he He just breathed. I know it's him.
And then there's a different type of breathing. And she's like, what have you done to my boy?
There's a giant electrical surge and drops.
Is your refrigerator running?
It's a scary movie reference, though.
Why'd you give this kid weird clothes?
I just called to say his clothes suck. What's up with this haircut? And the electrical surge cooks the phone. She drops it. And they weep together. We cut back to the boys who are out looking for Will in the rain that the newscaster warned about would happen. Dustin just wants to go home. He's a cast protection guy. And they're all like, stop being a bitch. We got to find Will. And they stumble upon 11. Scared in the rain, confused. But now she's seeing her people of her size.
You ever think Will went missing because he ran into something bad and now we're going straight to the place where he went missing?
No. Stop considering that.
Being a sissy.
Dustin's the idea man.
That's the end of the episode is the discovery of 11. It's such a good pilot.
Yeah. So the episode starts with the vanishing of one kid and the discovery of a completely separate kid.
Also poorly dressed.
Yeah. With a weird haircut.
Are so good at moving pieces on the board. And this is a through line for every season where they're just incredible about pairing people off, moving them around, making plot happen in different areas, and then intertwining them, weaving, if you will, squelching. It is good stuff.
Yeah, I watched Brandon Sanderson. He does a lot of like masterclass style stuff. I think of his own accord, just to teach people how to write and what methods he uses. And I don't even read his work, but I'll never forget one of the videos I saw of him saying, in improv, the rule is yes and in storytelling, the rule is yes but. And so every scene you want to end with yes but, and then that drives the narrative into the next scene. And if you do that every time, you'll have a really engaging story. And I think that that's what this reminds me of. There's always a development and then a new setback, even in the micro. You know what I mean? And it always keeps you entertained and interested and confused in a good way. Mm-hmm. And what a great, well, I didn't say he did, but yeah. What a great first episode, guys. And I hope that this is a great first episode for our podcast, because we're going to be doing like 36 more of them.
Yay!
We got to talk about our favorite moments, some Easter eggs that we found, and our favorite performance right after a word from one of our sponsors.
Hey, Stream Fiends, June is here, and you know what that means. School is out. Summer is heating up, and we're diving headfirst into the season of blockbusters, barbecues, and if you're anything like me, staying inside where the air conditioning is a-runnin'. It's also time for one of our favorite summer traditions, and that is giving a huge sun-soaked thank you to our super patrons. These amazing folks support us at the $25 or higher level on Patreon, and their generosity keeps this podcast running smoother than a slip and slide on a hot day. So don't jet off to the pool just yet, because we got to give these patrons a very special thank you. So thank you to Dara Cosby, Hannah Zito, Sun-Loving Mortal, Carrie Sink, Xander Barbarian, Daniel Pack, Phil S., Nice Guy Eddie, The Great Serpent, Taloon, Jordan Garvin, Albus Stinkpot, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Jim E., Lady Trashley, Sean Myers, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, E. Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Lofpalm, A.K. Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Upside Down Canuck, Big Butthorn, Jair Latanowicz, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elpander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, Trisha Bueller, Alex G, Suzanne Rode, Jadinklage Morgoon, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, That Brenda, Aaron Armstrong, V-Tech Hoot 82, Casey McCain, and of course Enza. Thank you again so much for supporting Streaming Things, and let's get back to the episode.
And we're back. It's time to find the chocolate pudding.
You found the chocolate pudding!
Our top 3 favorite moments from this episode. Andy, start us off.
My number 3 is Hop filling out the missing persons report with Joyce. And I love the, what about the one out of the 100? You said 99 out of 100. It's good writing. And I love Hopper's like so far removed from caring, but he's good at what he does. And so he's immediately like asking all the right questions and knows what's up. And I think that Winona Ryder is doing phenomenal work as this like frantic mother who has a heart of gold. It's a feel good scene, you know?
So my number 3 is the scene when Benny sits down with Eleven and he's trying to get information from her. He's such a lovely person because he does the whole like handshake thing. Like, all right. And even the act of him taking the food away, you can tell he's like, no, I'll give it back. I'll give it back. I just need your help because I really want to help you out. Clearly something's going on with you. And I'm just trying to help this poor kid. And you're so endeared to this man. And honestly, this could be a show. Guy owns a small diner.
Homeless kids just come through on the daily.
Well, like a kid with telekinetic powers shows up at his shop and he's just trying to help them and adventures ensue, right? You could see where this could be a show, just these two.
Yeah.
And the way that what ends up happening to Benny makes it so much harder to rewatch this because you're just like, oh, this poor guy has no idea what he's getting into. And this person with a heart of gold and best intentions is like leading himself into a dark result where he's going to get killed. And it's sad. But this initial conversation between the two, and you get a little bit of Millie Bobby Brown coming in with like, pointing at herself, and there's so much mystery to that character, and pairing her up with an adult that has a genuine care for them is really, really smart and an engaging scene, I think.
I think my number 3 is going to be Coffee and Contemplation. I think David Harbour and his work with Sheriff Hopper is my window into this show. And so there's so much of the early show. I love like the stuff with the kids, but you said something that I latched onto, that they intended the adults to be like John Carpenter shot, the kids to be shot like Steven Spielberg movie, and then the teenagers to be shot like a John Hughes movie. And I think you're a Spielberg guy. I think I'm a John Carpenter guy.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And we'll just call Andy a John Hughes guy.
You know,
which is probably accurate. You know?
Yeah, I like Breakfast Club.
He's a 16 Candles apologist.
Dong.
Yeah, and I think it's a really great scene, but it's also just iconic and funny, and it just shows you so much about his character and how much his world is about to be upended. We don't know the potential that he has. What a good cop he actually is. He's just been overridden by this tragedy he's been experiencing, this grief. But yeah, it's so classic. Coffee and Contemplation. Like, we love it. And I had to put it on. That's my number 3. Andy, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the introduction of the kids playing D&D. It's just shows you so much about all of the characters. You know, Mike the leader. We already went over all of that. Lucas is the brash one, and Dustin's cautious. I think that it is a incredible way to show so much without telling about these kids, and just make you pine for simpler times in your life. I never was a D&D kid, but I definitely played a lot of video games with my friends, and I miss those times.
Yeah, that's a good poll. My number 2 is Kit's number 3. It's the Coffee and Contemplation scene. Just the whole scene of him shambling into work, and you get to know how he kind of operates in this small town. Like, wow, Chief, you look like shit. Oh, it's because I was hanging out with your mom last night. Hurt. It's really an interesting way to introduce this character where you could think like, oh, this sheriff is doing a terrible job. And yeah, maybe he is. But to your point, Kit, like, it's because he's suffered through this tragedy and he's hiding. He left the big city to hide in the small town so that he could wallow in his own misery, right? Mm-hmm. And this is just how he is in the place of his life 4 years removed. Yeah.
This is a job he could do on autopilot.
Exactly.
Just run his life into the ground in peace, you know?
Yeah. But there's still something to love about him, the way he's like, mornings are for coffee and contemplation. Like, there's a charisma and a charm to him, despite the fact that maybe he's falling apart.
Absolutely. My number 2 is the same as Andy's number 2. I think the opening with the kids and getting to know them is so perfectly done and so helpful and characterizing and so entertaining and new and fun. And it's fucking great. What a great way to start the show after the cold open. Andy, your number 1 moment though.
My number one is the scene where Hop interviews Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, trying to find out what they know about where Will was last. And the crosstalk between Dustin and Lucas about he's on Mirkwood, it's from Lord of the Rings. No, it's from The Hobbit. And Mike is sitting there like embarrassed and dejected, like between them as they're arguing back and forth. It's so funny. And they start like hand fighting a little bit. And Hopper is, again, asking all the right questions because he's good at what he does. It's just phenomenal, like, characterization, but so funny.
Steve.
My number one is the D&D game. It's perfectly sets up where the story's heading. It's really, really smart. And you're just immediately fall in love with these kids. Like there's so much energy to them. And it's like, I kind of want to play D&D with these kids. That's not weird at all, is it? But it does remind you of an older time of hanging out with your kids in the basement. Mom, can we just play for 5 more minutes? It just immediately sets you back there. And all the boys are doing a great job of being fun and lovable and different and interesting. And it's all in this scene. It all stems from this. And that's why it's my number one.
I should have put this in number 3 instead of 1, but I gotta put it on here. My watch this time, I think it's so fascinating. I'm gonna put Benny's death because, again, like, I like crime thrillers, and I'm more of that kind of guy. And I think it's such a hard, oh shit, it's this kind of party.
Yeah.
When she shoots Benny in the fucking head. Because up to that point, yeah, there was a monster, but that's kind of fantastical. And it's like, I didn't know what kind of show I was watching.
Oh, we're just the government's murdering innocents?
Until we pull out the silenced pistol. And now I'm okay. But it's so sad too, because you've spent very little time with this guy, but you fucking love Benny. Like, Benny seems like such a good guy, so cool. And that's why it's my number one. It's such a choice. It's such a line in the sand. And it's so good. It's so engrossing. So that's my number one. But I'm curious, what were our previous chocolate puddings?
Well, I went back and re-listened to our previous episode, and it's kind of funny because, Kit, I think yours is the most similar to our original coverage, because your number 3 was Hopper's intro. The discovery of 11 was your number 2, and Benny's death was your number 1, even back then.
Discovery of 11 was my other choice that I almost picked. So that's funny.
Andy, yours is very specific in some ways and very broad in others. Like, your number 3 is specifically Mike seeing Steve trying to break into the house.
Okay. I like that.
Your number 2 was the ice cream with Benny, and your number 1 was Joyce and Jonathan talking and crying.
Wow. Way different.
And then mine was number 3 was the awkward makeout session. Hopper's intro was number 2, like this time. But my number 1 moment was the Demogorgon attack when it took Will.
I almost had that too. It's a short list. Will is kidnapped. It's a great little scary scene.
Yeah. So just a funny way to see how our tastes have changed over
Was
the years.
the makeout session when they were studying or in the bathroom?
Studying. Studying.
Interesting. Very different. We've grown.
Yeah.
Look at us.
That brings us to our Easter Eggos. Now, what we try to do here is any references to 80s culture, other stories that they're intentionally pulling from, and they want you to know that kind of stuff. This is the birth. If you listen to all of our coverage on House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones and The Boys and all that shit, this segment makes the most sense with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And we've just kept it stubbornly. But yeah, Andy, do you have any Eggos you want to start us off with? We'll go around the table.
Well, so I think that we would have definitely called out X-Men 134 back in the day because it was the first appearance of Dark Phoenix in X-Men, which was super cool.
It's
But
also the appearance of the Hellfire Club.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, it is so much more of an Easter egg now because it's the X-Men against the Hellfire Club. And I think that is incredible.
Yeah. And Dark Phoenix, for those who don't know, is Jean Grey has this kind of evil, ultra powerful telekinetic persona that is like a world ending Omega style strength, which obviously is tangentially related to 11's powers. So it's a cool little Easter egg for that too. It's not just a random X-Men thing. It's purposefully the Dark Phoenix one.
Are we taking turns or are we?
I thought we would, because Steve's probably got
700.
triple what we have, and we can just go around until we run out.
I do have like a billion things. The way I'm approaching this now is I'm looking for movie references, but also if there's anything in the background of scenes that I think is fun to call out culturally about the 80s, I also pluck those out as well. But I think, get this out of the way, 1982's E.T. is just inherently in the DNA of Stranger Things. I know we've previously talked about like the flashlights in the woods are very evocative of the scientists hunting E.T. and how they find 11.
But later there's some like really overt E.T.
Yes.
references.
And there's actually an overt one that I picked up on watching this time that I didn't in our original coverage, because since then we've actually like done a deep dive of E.T. available on Patreon. And so the Byers family dynamic is actually incredibly, it's what the family dynamic is for Elliot's family in E.T.
Elliot.
Single mom, dad's off with a younger girlfriend,
Elliot.
older brother that's kind of taking care of the younger siblings. Now, there isn't a sister in
There's
this
no
dynamic.
Reese's Pieces either.
No, but that family dynamic is there. And also, E.T. starts out with the boys playing D&D, eating pepperoni and sausage pizza. It's that specific.
Dang.
And I think that's really, really cool and fun. Also, there's an E.T. lunchbox at the school I saw in the background.
Nice. Let's see here. Radagast. We mentioned the Hobbit in the Mirkwood scene, Mirkwood Forest, but also Radagast the Brown.
Radagast, Gandalf. The one with bird shit on his head.
One of the wizards. Yeah. So that's interesting. Andy, what else you got?
So one of the things that I did to try to emulate Steve and be fully prepared was I read the script of the episode.
Oh,
just
nice.
to
Oh, nice.
see how different it would be.
Wait, so when you said at the beginning that he disappeared strangely or whatever it was?
The light flickered and it says strange. And
Is that actually in
that
the
is
script?
actually in the script, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you were just joking.
Yeah. So in the script, the drugs that Hopper are taking, it's Tuinol, which was a popular barbiturate sleeping pill that people would abuse.
They would
in
party on them,
the
yeah.
60s through the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they don't overtly say what it is in this episode, but yeah, he is not just taking his meds. He is a addict. And I think that is worth calling out.
Well, the beer for breakfast kind of clues that in too.
Yeah, for sure.
After brushing the teeth.
All right.
I have a couple references from the Goonies. Specifically, I think the most obvious one is when the boys arrive at school and Troy and James show up and they do the weird thing.
Truffle shuffle?
Freak. It's very similar to the Truffle Shuffle from Goonies. But also, again, we did a deep dive of the Goonies on Patreon. But Barb is I'm going to plug all these things. It's perfect. But Barb is actually very similar in look. I think they modeled Barb's look off of the character Steph from the Goonies, which is the one friend. And they act the same too. Like,
Yeah.
You like a boy? Remember to still be friends with me when you're popular?
Oh, the one with the braces that kisses Sean Astin in the cave.
Does she have glasses?
Or he has braces and she has glasses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think that's obviously a parallel there. They're going for Steph's look from the Goonies for Barb.
Awesome. I just have some music stuff. I'm going to call out Jefferson Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson Airplane, because that was a big thing, if you remember, on the first coverage of the show.
You learned that one. Do you know what the song title is?
Stranger Things.
No.
White Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Going back to the script, I should have said this before. It is like super dead on. What they wrote and what we see on screen. It is. I've never read a script and watched a thing and have it see it be that close. Like they had a very, very specific vision and they brought it to life. A interesting difference. It is not coffee and contemplation in the script. It is contemplation and coffee. And they,
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? It's mind-bending.
It's not as good.
I know, right? It's not as good.
Mornings are for contemplation and No.
No, it doesn't work at all.
Coffee is first, indeed.
Agreed.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
I'm not even going to think until I've had my fucking coffee.
Exactly.
The one big difference is there is a scene that they wrote where it is Callahan and Powell, the other two cops, the doofuses, are walking around inside of the Byers' home and they notice the Evil Dead poster in Jonathan's room and they ask him about it. And after Jonathan leaves the room, they say that Jonathan is number one suspect.
Really?
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's what everyone at school thinks.
That's true. A lot of people
Yeah.
think Jonathan's kind
Fucking
of
creep.
Yeah, creep. Yeah,
What'd you kill your brother for?
because he sneaks in the bushes and takes photos of people without their knowing.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Callahan can't pin that on him.
What else you got, Steve?
Jaws. 1975's Jaws. There's so many references to Jaws. Obviously,
movie.
Hopper and Brody share the idea that, you know, they're small town police chiefs that come from the big city.
Yeah.
There's the police missing report that they can have that close, like chunk 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 missing, that shots from.
Oh, nice.
Jaws.
You're right.
And then the whole thing when Flo's like
Roy Scheider's just hunting and pecking at the
chunk, chunk. And then Flo saying about, you know, so-and-so's gnomes and talking to Hopper and he just is not having it. That happens like exactly the same way in Jaws with Chief Brody and whoever the woman is that is his a secretary. Is that her role? Assistant.
Receptionist.
And then obviously, of course, like not seeing the monster very well is a very Spielberg Jaws type move. Don't
Until
look at
you,
the
of course,
monster.
jump the shark.
And yeah, when you jump it, you're going to look at it to make that jump.
Toto during the study makeout sesh. That's a band.
The song Africa by Toto.
Correct.
One of my favorite things about doing the rewatch is Andy called this song, "Isn't it great when you make out to Brazil?" I had never...
Terry Gilliam's masterpiece?
I never knew that Andy did that, but when I did the re-listen, I was dying. Everyone loves Brazil by Toto.
That's a great song.
You can get the band wrong, but to get the country wrong is hilarious.
Hey, that's America.
The continent wrong.
Well, it's a whole continent. Yeah. Well, he said Brazil, and that's a country.
Yeah, you're right.
I had to go with one of them.
I was trying to...
Don't pin this on me.
No, I'm just trying
Chris, can't you idiot?
Yeah, Andy's loving this. Yeah, idiot.
Is it on me?
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
They definitely, the Duffers, way back when, they were looking ahead and they knew about our upcoming coverage, because they call out Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, which we will be covering in a couple of weeks.
Heck yeah.
Which is super exciting. But yeah.
Just the first steps.
I'm just calling out the scene where the bullies they do the Goonies thing. But Mike says, yeah, it's a superpower like Mr. Fantastic.
Nice.
Mr. Steve?
Poltergeist, 1982's Poltergeist. The Wheeler family dynamic is the Freeling family dynamic. They modeled the appearances of Ted off of Steven.
Don't go towards the light.
Well, not her.
That's Holly.
She comes back later. But yeah, the Freeling family in Poltergeist is this family, and they based Karen, Nancy, and Mike's look specifically off of the mom, the daughter, the older daughter, the middle son, off of the characters from Poltergeist. And yeah. Nice. Obviously, and also Joyce gets Poltergeist tickets, you know.
I got nothing. Andy?
The one other thing that I wanted to talk about with the X-Men 134, I forgot to mention before, Dark Phoenix and stuff. The Dark Phoenix becomes the Dark Phoenix because there's a character named Mastermind that tinkers in her brain to unlock her full potential.
Dr. Brenner.
Yeah, and that's a straight up Dr. Brenner.
Hello, Mastermind. I like that. I think I should change my LinkedIn.
That's the last one for me.
All right, I got a ton, so pardon me. The Duffers said that the foggy state that you see the monster kind of walking around in, and later what the Upside Down looks like, is inspired by the video game Silent Hill. Apparently, they're big fans of that. In Mike's basement, we see the Thing poster in the background. The artist Dylan Struzan did that in 1982. But also, if you look at it, the Thing poster, you get the Thing, and it's the guy in the parka with the light coming out of his face. Very reminiscent of a Demogorgon.
Yeah.
I never pieced that together until this most recent rewatch. The pizza place that they ordered from is called Pizza One. I didn't know if that was a reference to Uno Pizza, which is based in Chicago, which is brought up a lot in Stranger Things. Ted is watching Knight Rider when Mike comes out.
Is that what I was trying to figure out what that was?
Yeah, there's like a brief second where you can see Hasselhoff in the car when he like starts smacking it around. So he's watching Knight Rider, or trying to watch Knight Rider.
That's a Kit reference.
Oh yeah, that's right. The car's name is Kit. I forget about that. Good pull. And then there's some interesting things at Hopper's place. He has The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway on his table.
Yeah, you're never in a good spot when you're reading Hemingway.
No, yeah. The beer he's using, this was fascinating to me. I don't know why, but a lot of the logos, or the recognizable logos that you see in this show, are usually like the bottle, for instance, is turned enough where you can tell what it is, but it's not, the logo's not front and center, right? Greeking is what that's called in movies, if you like move a bottle to obscure the label just enough. But his beer can was like front and center, Schlitz beer. And it made me think that that was a fake beer company that, because I don't drink beer, so I don't know anything about it. I thought it was a fake beer that they just had the license to, so they didn't care about showing the logo. But no, Schlitz beer, it's not around that much anymore. The brand is, but it's owned by Pabst Brewing Company now. But in the 80s, Schlitz beer was the most popular beer in the US. And their slogan was, when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. And it's just kind of cool that they show that in
I ain't drinking no Schlitz.
No, it's still sold today, but it's not nearly as popular, obviously. But it was at one point the most popular beer brand in America, and the company started in 1849, so it's like an old brand.
Dang, cracking open a Schlitz. That was an American pastime.
He also had some Jean Naté liquid moisturizer, which that's also a brand that's not around anymore, but I thought that was fun. In Will's room, we
jerking off a Ginate.
Yeah, Ginate. Taking some pills, reading some Hemingway, and some Ginate.
That's a good Sunday night, you know?
In Will's room, I spotted a Officer Big Mac cup, which is from the 1977 collector series of McDonald cups. Are you familiar with Officer Big Mac?
No. I know about the hamburger.
Are you familiar with Mayor McCheese?
No.
So I only say that because Officer Big Mac looks like Mayor McCheese, but in a constable police officer outfit. Uh-huh. And these were a cast of characters in the McDonald
Are they
land.
stopping the Hamburglar?
Yeah. So
nice.
Officer Big Mac was there to stop Hamburglar and Captain Crook.
Not Kirk.
Yeah.
I'm not affiliated with McDonald's.
Don't put that evil on me. Captain Crook was the Hamburglar to the Filet-O-Fish. Okay. But these are McDonald characters that were sort of phased out in 1985 and that you don't see anymore. There was also a Pebbles and Bam Bam lunchbox, which that was a spinoff from the Flintstones where Pebbles and Bam Bam were teenagers.
I know about Pebbles and Bam Bam.
So he fucks with that. I'll speed run through these. At school, we got Trapper Keepers. We've got Texas Instruments, baby. There was a Commodore 64 in the background. There was also The Journey of a Lifetime. It was there in the background of the AV Club. Like, what is that? It's a 52-part lesson study through the entire Bible. So there you go.
With The Journey of a Lifetime.
Lucas has a Man-at-Arms figure from He-Man in his room. Oh, Mike's radio is a TRC 214, which is interesting. It's a little bit of an anachronism because the TRC 214 was not released yet in 1983. It would come out
trash.
I believe it would come out in 1985 and sold exclusively through Radio Shack. Yeah, you knew where I was going with it.
The only place to get your electrical needs.
Nancy's got a Blondie poster and a Pluto the dog plushie from Disney. You know Pluto the dog.
Yeah.
And then the music that Kit missed, you got two of them, but there's a couple songs that you missed. There's Can't Seem to Make You Mine by the Seeds. That's playing when Hopper first arrives at the police station, playing over the radio.
So it was diegetic.
Yes.
Doesn't count.
She Has Funny Cars, also by Jefferson Airplane, playing on the radio when 11 is stealing the fries.
God, Kit, how did you not catch that?
I don't count diegetic songs.
I Shall Not Care by Pearls Before Swine is playing as Benny is making a burger for 11 over the radio again, so Kit wouldn't count it. Jenny May by Trader Horn is when 11 stops the fan from moving, so diegetically that scene starts with one song, ends with a different on the radio. And then last but not least, Every Little Bit by Jackie James and Ian Curnow. Now this song is insane to me, and listener, if you have more information about this, I would love to hear it, because the song this is what Nancy's listening to on her radio when Steve joins her in her room. So Jackie James is a songwriter who is well known for writing songs for Jennifer Lopez, Kylie Minogue, and Celine Dion. Ian Curnow is the keyboardist for the band Talk Talk, but I can't figure out when this song came out. The earliest I can find it is it's part of a extreme music CD 80s pop what do you call that when it's, you remember,
compilation?
Now that's what I call the 80s. Yeah. So it's an XCD 149 80s pop, and everywhere I find shows that album came out in like the mid 2000s or something, but not in the 80s. And there's like someone.
Well, that's when that album would have came out, honoring the 80s music, right?
Right, but I can't find the original release of this song anywhere. I can only find like remasters of the song or covers of the song that
Taylor's
happened
version?
in the 2000s. Yeah. So if you have any information of when this song originally came out, I'd love to know because I can't figure out when it actually came out.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was neat.
Was that the last banger you found?
That's the last banger I got.
Those are all of our Easter Eggos discovered in just episode 1, motherfuckers. We're going to keep diving deep. But first, our 11 out of 10 nomination. That's what we're calling our best performance of the episode. We're each going to nominate one. Andy, who are you going to go with? We've never done this before.
I'm going to go with David Harbour for the first one. All the reasons we talked about. He does such a good job of being dejected, but good at what he does. And the way that he delivers lines is just so fun sometimes. What's wrong with his clothes? Stuff like that. It's so good.
He's amazing.
Steve.
I'm going to give it to Winona Ryder, playing this mom that's trying her best. And then the smoking and like, he's a good boy. And when she gets really upset, you really feel for her. And every scene she's in, she's kind of stealing. Like even the scene with her in Castle Byers with Will going, "My witch!" Like she's so cool. I wish she was my mom, and I love my mom.
Sorry, Carol. I'm also going to give the award to David Harbour. I think again he's kind of my window into this from my personal taste and movies and TV shows specifically, at least. And he does so good. He's a comedic relief, but he's got the dramatic bits and he's like tough and cool enough to give you some like almost action tinges. And I think he became the movie star of all of them from this show for a reason. And yeah, I think it's great. So my 11 out of 10 goes to David Harbour. And again, the will call, I think I may have miscounted, is 21 so far. Now, do I add to that on the next episode?
Yes.
Okay.
So you keep a running tally.
Running tally. Gotcha. And I'm sure Discord members will have the previous will call to kind of see if my counting
wrong we
is
are.
up to snuff with with Steve. But that's our coverage of episode 1 of Stranger Things. Next week, we'll, of course.
We got one more thing.
Oh, no. We do have the MadLibs story.
We got two more things.
2 more things.
So the first thing is we got to step into, thank you, my assistant Erica. We got to step into the Nina.
Yeah.
We got to step into the Nina. That is our brand new segment where we're going to gamify this a little bit, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to play.
You playing for handies?
Yeah, we're playing for Handy Andy's.
All right.
I'm going to play for you out of context clips from our previous coverage of this episode that we recorded all the way back in 2017. And what you guys have to do is listen to the clip I play and tell me what you think we are talking about in this segment. What is the context of why we said what we say in these clips?
Okay.
Tilda Swinton.
If you'd have said that, I've been like, what?
And to celebrate, I got some Eggo ice cream sandwiches for us to enjoy.
Oh, let's go.
We can have them right now. We can wait a little bit until after we're done recording, but there they are. And that is what my assistant Erica brought down.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica. Love of my life.
What'd I do?
What'd I do? All right, here is the first clip from our previous coverage.
So it's no Ocarina of Time, but it's not a video game, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. All right. It's like apples and steak.
So what were we talking about when you said that?
It's no Ocarina of Time.
But it's also not a video game.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Right, and he says Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm gonna go with their D&D story as well.
So you're both wrong. We were talking about the Stranger Things ratings online. Specifically, Kit had brought up how Stranger Things at the time had an 8.9 on IMDb, was number 38 of the top TV shows of all time, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. But then you said you had a 76 on Metacritic, which Andy responded, Metacritic is kind of dick. And we were talking about how it's insane that like this website, which at the time was well known for rating video games, and you were saying, well, that's comparing a TV show with a video game is like comparing apples and steak. And I just thought it was interesting that nowadays Stranger Things has an 8.6 on IMDb, has fallen to 122 on the top TV list on IMDb.
Wow.
Has a 92% on Rotten and has a 74% on Metacritic. But Ocarina of Time is still the top rated game on on Metacritic at 99.
Nice.
All right, here's the next one. You ready?
You don't have to Google that because it's here on a streaming thing.
What did the audience not have to Google because they heard it here on streaming things?
They heard it here third. Why did they have to not have to Google? Lord knows.
Lord knows.
It would have had to have been one of our Easter
An
eggs.
Easter eggo.
Yeah.
I would have to guess.
You think it was an Easter eggo?
Yeah.
Actually, this was Kit Laser trying to impress the audience that he knew who Charlie Heaton was. You didn't have to Google who played Jonathan because Kit had it in his brain, but he actually just Googled it while he was talking. But you were like, you don't have to Google that because I know Charlie Heaton's name.
Just the cast?
This is before we took notes and knew who the cast was.
Just the cast. Okay.
All right, next one.
So he's pushy horny, like 80s style, but not full villain pushy horny.
Yeah.
Just like unfortunate.
What are the levels of villain pushy horny?
What were we talking about there?
Steve pushing in on second base in the makeout room for sure.
Yeah, Steve, for sure.
Well, you're both right. That was in relation to Steve trying to get to second base. Kit, you specifically blame the patriarchy for this. Here's our next one.
He's 89 today.
That I don't know, but he definitely did all of those things, and I didn't know that.
And
I
he's
learned that.
89.
At one point, he was 89.
Yes. Confirmed.
Just hurt my toe.
Just hurt my toe. We were talking about Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. Okay, Andy,
guess.
who do you think?
What could we possibly be referencing? Let's go with the Schlitz beer guy.
You're both wrong. We were referring to, I'm going to mispronounce their name, Ed Benguiat, who invented the Stranger Things fonts.
I was going to say that, and that's an Easter eggo we didn't discuss. The most obvious one is the famous font that Stephen King often used. That is the Stranger Things and Streaming Things logo.
Yeah, and it's named after the person who designed it. And he died actually on October 15th, 2020.
COVID?
At the age of 92. I didn't see why. So he would have been 93 when he passed away.
It was definitely marked down as COVID, though.
Probably. Oh, yeah, for sure. In that time frame?
He definitely was 89 at some point, though. We were correct.
I wasn't wrong.
And this is our last one, our last trip in the Nina. You guys ready?
Back into the Nina.
I get the 80s chicks mixed up a lot. 70s chicks.
They were
Is that
all
not even 80s? Is that just shut up? I don't think it is.
What were we referencing?
That was Fleetwood Mac, Jefferson Airplane.
Yep.
Can I tell you something?
I wish you would.
Last night, I was on my couch, and I always keep the different categories that we discuss open on my Word document as I'm typing the scene by scene. And I wrote Fleetwood Mac down as my ego.
Did you really?
And then like 10 minutes passed. And it must have been this incident haunting me. But I had this weird tingle, like a spidey tingle. And I paused Stranger Things and I opened up Safari and I typed in Fleetwood Mac White Rabbit. And it populated Jefferson Airplane. I had to delete it and write Jefferson Airplane. So when you said, what's the song name? I knew it was White Rabbit. But I was scared to say anything that I hadn't written down after all the embarrassing
That's why you were so hesitant?
I was like, I don't know.
Because if you did listen to this episode, you were so cocksure. You're like, I found an Eggo, you guys. White Rabbit by Fleetwood Mac. Great song. Love it. And I was like, do you mean Jefferson Airplane? You're like, no. That's obviously Stevie Nicks singing. And then you said, and then when we realized that it was Jefferson Airplane, it wasn't Stevie Nicks, you're like, why get the 80s chicks mixed up? Wait, is that song from the 60s or 70s? Oh shit. And then you panicked.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite moments that I remember from our original coverage is the Fleetwood Mac thing. Jefferson
Whatever.
Airplane.
Could have happened to anybody.
Coulda.
Twice.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Any hoozle.
Well, that brings us to our MadLibs section.
Yeah, let's see what story we created. I finished my Eggo ice cream sandwich, and I'm excited to hear my story now before bed.
Before you go to bed, before I tuck you guys in, it's time to read the story.
You've taken one nibble.
Because I've been talking this whole time.
No, that's true.
It's time to listen to the story you guys helped make called Welcome to Hawkins. Looking to settle down in a small, smelly town, one with charm, friendly buns, and a real sense of community?
Hell yeah.
Then look no further than Aardvarkens, Indiana. With a modest population of 17, you'll feel like a local in no time.
Andy's so blue.
Aardvarkens is a place where kids can play, ride their bikes, and what's that? You've heard the news reports about missing tulips like Pippin Byers. Say, do you love to shop? You should visit Throat Court Mall. The town's latest thrusting destination. From the tech-savvy Sack Shack to the cinema, there's something for... Oh, you want to hear more about the library? Oh, demo giraffes, rotting cheese coney crops all over town, Russian spies, the naval flare, magnets quickly falling off refrigerators. Where are you hearing all this? Let's just focus on the Cave Court Mall. Have I mentioned the food court has a Scoops Lollapalooza?
I thought it was the Throat Court Mall.
Yeah, changed it to the Cave Court.
It was way cooler when it was Throat.
It was, Throat Court Mall.
The thrusting destination of the town.
But that concludes your story. Welcome to Hawkins.
Love it.
Well, if you guys want a lot more MadLibs and Easter Eggos and me not knowing who sang what, stay tuned. We're going to be covering every single episode of Stranger Things. If you like what we do and you want, like, I wonder if they did this type of thing, but with Game of Thrones, say, what would it be like? Go to patreon.com/streamingthings, where we're middle of season 6 already. So we got lots of Game of Thrones coverage if you like this kind of nonsense and tomfoolery. And also, we've covered almost every movie that ever inspired Stranger Things, as Steve was pointing out over there on Patreon as well. Next week, we'll be covering Jurassic World Rebirth and Stranger Things on the main feed, more Game of Thrones on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the show. That's all the time we have for right now. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Streaming Things, streaming Stranger Things.
Streaming things.
Stranger Things.
Andy has walked across the room and grabbed his phone. He has rejoined us at the table.
Sounds like the golf commentator.
He is vigorously typing on his keypad with his thumbs.
He has-
and is showing Chris the synopsis for episode 1.
That sounded masturbatory, not golf clappy.
He is whipping out his... We're going to need 2 towels.